is Robert Berry, who's a counterpart who works in the same branch as I do.
Steven?
So you guys do morning flyovers assessing the fires, is that correct? Like the choppers that you guys have in the schoolyard, you guys do a morning or a daily assessment of the fire from the air, is that correct?
Yeah, there's a daily assessment, there's also bucket operations and crew movements with those helicopters.
Yeah, so on the daily assessments, who's on that? Is it the Flin Flon Fire Chief and the Creighton Fire Chief, is that?
No, it's the operations section chief, but as Bruce will acknowledge, I have provided him an opportunity to have a look for himself too, to take to council when he requests it.
Throughout the fire, the other fire chiefs were taken on the choppers to assess their areas, like Creighton, Flin Flon. Denair was neglected that way. Why was our chief not able to fly to assess our area and what's going on, and where the fire is, and what our threats are?
Well, he shouldn't have been, but I also I have talked with Seth and provided flights for him when he's asked for them. I don't know what happened earlier on, but I have provided him on when he calls me. We've made arrangements for him to have a look at the fire.
Okay, at the back there.
Okay, this is the disaster. And it's not mine, it's a friend who was and she was wondering.
Could you, excuse me, could you move up closer here? We can't hear you back there.
This question is from my friend, he may have lost people. The microphone is here. I know you mentioned with the disaster relief, that it's canceled for replacement. But is there a process for accessing funds to address uninsured things like people may not even be thinking, but landscaping, replacing their lawns, replacing the paved driveways, planting trees that are no more, like, is there assistance for that aspect?
Unfortunately, no, there is not assistance for things like decorative items or lawns or that sort of thing through the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program. It's very much an Essentials for Life and Livelihood program. So if it's not like a bare bones essential, it's not going to be able to be covered under that federal provincial program.
Well, in our lives, we tend to collect a lot more than bare bones essentials.
What about a house? That's a bare essential.
I have another question, and it's kind of, I guess, to you folks over here who I feel you guys have been attacked for, so now I'm going after you. So May 28th, we evacuated. I don't know about everybody else in here, but I called your office 4 times. 4. First time was just to register. Oh, well, we will send you an email. No email. So call again, and oh, we will call you back. Nothing. So then we were told, because everybody was getting annoyed by this time, so we were told, call the ombudsman's office. As soon as we did that, boom, somebody called me. But they called me, and so then they wanted all this information. Oh, well, where are you? I said, well, actually, I went to Gimli, Manitoba, where my family is. And they're like, oh, okay, and so you're not in Saskatchewan? I said, no. Oh, well, then you don't qualify because you're not in Saskatchewan. Really? So we live on a border town. I have 6 cats, 2 are SPSA rescues. I have 1 dog, my husband. So we're supposed to go to Weyburn, where they told me to go, sleep in a freaking school gym with 6 cats, a dog, my husband, instead of going to my family's house who loves me and supports me and gives me a bedroom. So anyway, so the woman said, oh, well, you know what, I don't know, we'll get back to you. Still didn't get anything. So Ombudsman's office called me again just to follow up. Did anybody call you back? I said, yeah, but they really didn't give me any information. And so then again, I get another call back from your office. And they're like, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you do qualify for your $40 food voucher, but I have to drive to Weyburn to pick it up. From Gimli, Manitoba, that's 7 hours. Are you freaking kidding? Like,
This is not an isolated issue. I have spoken
No,
to
it's not.
You know what, I can't even comment on it because I just can't believe it. I'll be the first to tell
I
you.
believe she was asking these guys.
Okay, well, I'll answer it because the ultimate responsibility is mine, you know, I mean, you know, was I sitting in front of that phone? No. But the ultimate responsibility when it breaks down like that is mine.
So what is
And
the
I don't-
accountability from you? What are we gonna, like, what is
No,
the?
again, I understand, like, I am not here to really point fingers at this point, I get, it's been 4 weeks now, right? We can't go back, but again, going forward, these people need money. Like, the Red Cross, who isn't my favorite organization right now, but like, they were giving out cash, they were giving out almost $500 to their Manitoba counterparts.
Weekly.
Yeah, like, I don't know the timeline, I don't know any of that, but they were getting cash, like, right away. They kind of no questions asked. And then, but it was Daenerys Beach and Creighton that were handed off to you guys, and I kind of felt we were ripped off. It's like, why did we get you guys? You're doing nothing.
You know what, we own that. We own it, plain and simple. That's it. No, that's why we're bringing the checks starting tomorrow.
Appreciate that, but that's 4 weeks.
Totally.
That they were not supposed to get any money from their agency.
It's like,
Sarah told me that. But
a friend of mine who,
8 times I called, and each time I was escalating. Never got a call back.
a friend of mine who, her house actually burnt down. She was staying in Saskatoon. They had a Red Cross office there for evacuees. So again, they lost everything, so they thought they would just go there. They knew they weren't really covered by the Red Cross, but it's evacuation, right? So they go there, and they were turned away and said, no, sorry, you're being dealt with by the SPSA. They have clothes there for them, they have food, and so they were turned away and had to pay $50 for their breakfast because they were covered under the Red Cross.
Who in this room received any money from, please your hand up. Who received money?
Stand up or put your hand up if you've received
Not
a
one
penny
person got money.
of help. Anyone? Anyone?
When we were evacuated, we went
Say
to
it loud.
Madge Lake. We were
Say it
lucky
loud.
enough that we knew people in Madge Lake and helped us out to get lodging for our families. Seven of us. We were lucky enough. Do you know that there was an MP golf tournament at Madge Lake? For a 3-day tournament, and they threw people out so that the MPs had places to fucking stay?
We got thrown out.
They were with us.
Stories like this,
They
you
got
guys
thrown
have
out.
no idea.
They were displaced so the MPs could have a golf tournament. Well, they had nothing when their home was burnt to the fucking ground.
All 3 properties.
So-
So,
was in a meeting with Carter.
You know what, I can say I'm sorry, but I'm appalled is what I meant. I'm truly.
Four MPs kicked people out because they wanted to know.
We gotta go in order, Cindy.
Sorry, okay.
I was just gonna comment, I mean, from what we did do, and it didn't affect very many in this room, but we did put, for those that registered and needed to, put them up in a hotel. Unfortunately, they were not able to take.
None. I'm sorry, we all know each other. I'm telling you.
No, I'm saying it obviously didn't happen for the ones in the room. Because we did, SPSA did put up close to 1,000 individuals in rooms, not from just this community, but I mean across the province. And I know the Red Cross
How many
did.
communities did you have evacuated?
Let him address
Yeah.
that question.
He's saying he had 1,000 people put up. I know we have 3,000 plus people here. If you put up 1,000, and we were only one of many evacuated items, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you overshine that. 1,000 people.
SPSA put 1,000 and the Red Cross put just around 10,000 in Saskatoon congregate. Many First Nations communities in the north with the Red Cross. So you know that, but a lot of individuals, and I'm assuming very many in this room, I use the term self-evacuated, drove out of the community, got themselves out, went to family and friends, and that's where we were, you know, to get you the dollars or supports or food vouchers, which we did do in some cases, but not to many in this room. Nobody in this room.
I didn't see a single hand get lifted, sorry.
Well, can you acknowledge that not a single person in this room received any assistance from SPSA from the date of May 28th evacuation till today? Not a single person has received any help.
We have been cutting checks and we are going to be delivering them starting tomorrow.
Do you have them tonight?
No, they're starting tomorrow. We've got a time frame starting tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead. No, sorry, but the lady behind you.
I phoned right from the beginning when we could phone, and the people I talked to had no direction. Absolutely no direction. They had no clue what could be done, nothing. They kept saying, look for an email, which I never got. I phoned. We were told on Friday we could come home on Sunday, bring groceries with us, so on and so forth. I phoned again, no direction. 20-some days later, and they still had no direction. They had not a clue what to do. Now, all those people, as courteous as they were on the phone, they're getting paid. People that are with children and don't have money and all that, they're getting nothing. You guys, they had no direction. They didn't know what to tell us. And it's a little too late. It's too late.
Thank you for that.
So how long has the SPSA been in charge of people evacuating and supplying monies to people in need? How long have you guys been in charge of this?
The money aspect is relatively new. Before that, it was hotels and food vouchers.
Well, you failed at that. I mean, if you were responsible for that, for food vouchers and that, you absolutely failed at that. How long have you been responsible for that? How long have you been responsible?
SPSA has been in I guess, since 2019. 17 was when the legislation passed. It was actually formulated in July.
So it's 2019 and it's 2025 and you still can't get your act together? What the hell, man? What the hell? What are you doing?
This is painful.
How much money does the SPSA get from the government for evacuees? How much money did you guys get for evacuees from the government?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. What?
You get donations and money from the government, how much do you guys get?
We don't. We actually go back after the fact. We take it out of our budgets and then we go back and ask for money. We get no special money.
So our taxes, we are paying for, Saskatchewan taxes are paying for.
It goes through the government of Saskatchewan, and I have a budget. SPSA has a budget, and we allot, you know, depending on the demand, no different than our salaries and everything else. This is above and beyond what we budget for, absolutely. So it will be an ask after the fact.
It's really tough to hear because on every level you're saying that, like, you assess the situation, you assess the fire, you assess risk, you assess damage, and at every turn you've told us we weren't important enough. We weren't important enough to come and help. We're not important enough now. We're not going to be important enough. Our SKUs, our boats, our stuff, none of it was important enough. We're going to be really limited on what we're going to get for funding. You don't have any answers. It's just so frustrating right now. So frustrating.
You know what? I absolutely hear you. Because, you know what? I don't have all the answers. But I can tell you one thing, you are important.
Yeah,
Everybody's
we
important.
don't live at Candle Lake.
My name is Michelle Brown. I live in Creighton. I hate speaking, and I'm pissed off. So here it goes. Like my husband said, how many years has SPSA been an organization? You said 2017? 19? So give or take 2,912 days, and you guys are still trying to figure this out. This is beyond unacceptable. There are people still waiting for a phone call for any kind of assistance. That's sad on all parts. That was all that I really needed to say. I'll go sit back down and wait for a phone call. By now, I'm sure you have my number.
Then you only want to do that.
Thank you.
Sydney?
Question is, if I'm hearing you right, you've been in charge of this relief since 2019, correct? Is this the first year that there's been this huge disconnect? And if it is the first year for this huge disconnect as far as giving funding to those who really need it, what happened that prompted that to happen? Because I'm not hearing this has been happening for 6 years to other communities who've been evacuated. I'm only hearing that it's happened in this particular situation. So is there a reason for that? Was there a mess up on a computer? Was there a untrained individual in charge of this? I was told many times when I called this in finance, where is the finance department? Is it in Japan? Where is it? I mean, these are things that we need to know going forward so that this doesn't repeat itself. Because we don't want other communities to suffer. We want to learn and grow and figure things out so it doesn't get repeated. So what happened before? Is this new? That's my question.
That's part of the after action, what I mentioned before, because I don't know where it broke. I mean, there obviously something broke in the process, the communication, internal, external, whatever that is. But we have not finished the review because our priority right now is to make sure that the dollars that everyone in this room has not got and yet entitled to gets in your hands. And so that's what we've been focusing on, and we're going to make sure that that happens over the next 4 to 5 days, whether it's in this community or we find out where they are and we get the dollars or the checks to them in other communities. And then we will do that review and we will find out so that it doesn't happen again. Because that's how we get stronger.
Up there.
After you guys review yourself, will you let an external review happen?
It may be an external review at the start, just so you know.
Who's that for?
We haven't decided that yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm a fact person and a numbers person. So we're gonna go back to equipment for firefighting in terms of sprinklers and water trucks and communication radios. How can people, what's the process for finding out what supplies were available for on June 1st onwards for requests from the fire departments and the communities of Creighton and Denair Beach? Is there a warehouse of supplies? What was available or not available? Because I can say, as a personal citizen, I helped procure 4 truckloads, pickup truckloads of firefighting supplies and communication radios for the 2 communities and their fire departments because they were not available from the SPSA. So the question needs to be asked, was that firefighting equipment available? And where was it? And why was it not made available to our communities who were volunteers on the ground and volunteers in the community? Our fire departments are not paid. The majority are volunteer people. So how do I go about, or who goes about finding out where that equipment was and why it was not available, yet me as a private citizen was able to procure those equipment
And just a little bit more
requests?
to that, did you know, or did you really not know? Do you need more stories like this? Like the guy who called my husband to go to his work to find attachments for nozzles they didn't have. There's Joey Werbicki is here, his entire shop was looted. There's frickin' every single person in this room could probably tell you how they pulled together to try to, on every level. I was in the kitchen cooking. I stayed 2 extra days to cook for our firefighters. I was hoping to never actually evacuate, which ended up not being my story, but everybody has something in Denair Beach for sure. I'm sure Creighton has the same stories. Are you aware that that was what was happening? When we were asking for help, we're proud people. We are very educated, successful business owners who came together and and barely kept our lives, and then it just got shit on and shit on and shit on some more. Like it's just so bad. Are you honestly not knowing any of that?
That's part of the review process.
Oh.
So I, cause
But no, I'm asking
no,
you,
no,
did you know that?
No, I did not.
Do you want more? 'Cause I
Absolutely,
would
that
happily
will be
get
part of the review, absolutely.
How do you know that? They must have you that. I was in graduation in Alberta. And spent my time trying to find forestry fire hoses for the Creighton Volunteer Fire Department because I was in Alberta and couldn't maybe bring some in. How do you get to know that fact if I am standing in this room and tell you?